Big pew.
Yeah, big pew, like big pharma.
I can't believe there's more chairs.
I do like it. It's like some people are bigger than us. You know what I mean? Like you can have 10 little people and then 10 people size people, and it's just a different. So I do kind of like the pews where you
I do
can
too. I just can't believe chairs give
just to
you
be
more
confined.
than a pew because
Yeah.
you can scoot together. Really, the chair.
Yeah, I love the pews.
Yeah. Okay.
We argue
Big pew.
about it. He likes chairs.
No,
I like
I
pews.
don't.
He says you can get more
No, I've
chairs.
actually
I
come
say you
around
can
to.
get more
I like.
pews.
I like. Well, first I thought, but the idea that I think some churches also had this idea. Some chair companies also sold churches on the idea. If you go to chairs, that you have all this more kind of flexibility and seating and. But to take down and move chairs every Sunday.
Yeah, well, I like
That.
You have a hard enough time in the gym.
Yeah.
Wish we'd have kept count of how many times like those chairs down in the gym.
Those churches that like have to set up for worship.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Some of those is.
Greg used to
Where's
do
the
basketball
other
at Tustin. They would have all of their like worship chairs set out. Like they had like a basketball league, but during the week, and then
When we went, not one like
whatever that happens to come to pass.
your chairs, no more than eight.
Yeah, they're in the church.
Yeah.
And there's ones that kind of stick together.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what it takes.
right. They're pretty big, but I don't know when they would not have them down. They have like a worship center.
I think anybody
She
that's
was
new
telling me about your truck.
does not need a pew anyway. Like even if it's like these chairs have been here for forever, and I'm just looking at chairs that are individual, then I can just add the option.
You know, 2020 when we remodeled with all those pews.
Yeah.
I would say.
I know that's something I would get that long slug days auditorium.
Yeah.
Taking all those.
Then pulling up the carpet.
Yeah, that's her.
I think Adam came with a quote.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling up the carpet.
Right?
It was,
Yeah.
it was just Jacob had the idea.
Oh, would you look?
Found the
Pandemic.
he's a real awesome.
But what we learned too, every pew in there, there's not any two that are exactly alike. Because of the shades and so like you had to,
Yeah.
you had to label them and you had to figure out where they go. And then they've got the screw.
Did something else. Him right there.
I'm glad we did it, but we wouldn't have been able to.
I know.
The pandemic gave us.
Yeah.
It did both.
So we would just,
So,
the treasure outside of
Like now, your treasure, we're looking at treasures. All, and Mayor Taylor's looking at treasures.
It's like, I suppose, whatever, and that's what we do. But like, he'll drive it up to this, like, the whole place will come out and start. So like, people are seeing,
the one I found. Oh, yeah. Chattanooga. That one looks like.
Yeah, it's in pretty good shape.
So we'll get it, and then you can do all the layers. So you can make it.
With multiple layers of green slime.
Like, no,
Yeah.
I know my. Wait. You got that one body work. I got my.
Yeah. No.
you got an AC put in. What's a good night?
That would be.
Are all your friends finally functioning?
Yeah. Weird. I don't know. What I think it's just
Halloween hour, but we
going stuff. Megan or
to get it.
like,
Yeah. I'm just thinking, right? You have like a
4 hours.
school parties, can't everybody's so overstimulated by the Halloween, like kids, Halloween, then it's
Maybe,
one meltdown.
maybe she's speaking in the future. She said, "Bob,
And they're all
she really wants you to leave."
It's like,
She's not shy. But you know,
Yeah. Like when she comes to my office and plays with it, then we don't make up
We're not that family.
she'll just
just
like,
drive.
like nine.
Dad,
But she knows how it's coming together.
like that every time we're like trying to do something like that. So it's like,
It's like, I think
Three, four, 5,000.
someone gets it there.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's just a line, like, like, ring the doorbell, and he wakes up, door, waiting
That's when it's like,
They got to ring the doorbell, instead of just like waiting in line to the next house. Where they, because he just sits outside.
it's more of a pretty, it's hard to make money. Appreciation, I don't see that around.
But maybe because they were not here.
Not like
Yeah, so she like now she like remembered it.
we just did. It's, but other places are even worse. A lot of other places. I mean, we definitely jumped up. A lot of lived here forever, but you know, all these other places, they are shut up. Rent prices,
But then that she said get rid of it. And then later
we got in Clay Ridge. It was about 150 single family houses. He sold all his spots and duplexes, but she said the hassle for the turnover. The tenant wants to be in the house. They don't want their neighbors. Came up for yes, the best tenants don't want to be
trying to get that.
my family. So I like the single family because you can get better.
Well,
He's not like.
I was ready.
How someone finds it. Clay said he's done. You might get cash flow. It turns into a job. I like the film better. I'd rather make every month.
gotta pay taxes.
If you haven't done it.
But you know, you sell it. Yeah. I
How was the horseback game like?
I want to get my.
I want to go over 700 feet long.
Yeah. I hate and love it. Oh, yes, that's the sound. I hate and love the sound. I've been
Really?
that was kind of like
I didn't like the call. I should have.
yeah, that was yeah.
I hate to say that.
Gotta bring that.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Let's read together the passage that we've been using as our text for this class, Deuteronomy chapter 6. And let's read together 4 through 9. Deuteronomy chapter 6, 4 through 9. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Oh, I got you. Everybody else got the international or Deuteronomy 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down, when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. All right. So in this passage, we've been talking about when you wake up, a morning habit, morning routine. Or ignore the technology, man. So we're talking about when you wake up and some of those routines that can start the day off right with your family, with your kids. We talked about when you lie down, things that you can say and do, and reading a scripture or having a prayer, reading a Bible story, those kinds of things. Speaking a blessing over them. You lie down. When you sit at home, we talked about mealtime. We talked about what you could do to be maybe a little more strategic during that mealtime, take advantage of that. And we talked about maybe a family devotion. Maybe just in the book, he just talked about once a week, family devotion. And so this week, I was just speaking of that. So I told you I would give you some examples of catechism. He talked about that. This is catechism is an old practice, and I'm not necessarily recommending either one of these resources. I don't know them very well, but they it's basically just a question and answer thing. It'd probably be like like we would say, like, what does the cow say? And we might ask a question and they answer it. And so in this one, some of these questions I would not ask my kids about, like question here about hell. Sure about that, but question 1, who made you? God made me. Question 2, what else did God make? God made all things. And so you do this kind of this question and answer with your children that can be a form of teaching and impressing on them the truth. I'm not saying you use these questions, but that's just the method. It's just called catechism. It goes back thousands of years. And some of these questions are also written in kind of a old English kind of way, but yeah. But these are good things, and kids typically like to do those things and play those kinds of question and answer things. So So that's that. So today's chapter, yeah, some of the drawings aren't great either. Today's chapter,
Look at the beginning of that one.
yeah,
Rather than the end.
yeah, it gets
It's pretty deep, pretty dark.
yeah. I think some of those must be following like some of those ancient creeds, Nicene Creed and all the Apostles' Creed and stuff like that. I'm just kind of for the basics, but the ideas of question and answering, like question and response, those are helpful things. Okay, screen time. This might be the most difficult and maybe one of the most important lessons. So let's hear from you. What was this? Is what I want to know. What was screen time like for you growing up? It's easy for us because all we had was TV and 3 channels. But I love TV. Parents didn't let me watch it, so I had to sneak around. But what was screen time for you growing up? And what is your current relationship with screen time as it relates to your kids? No judgment. No judgment. It's just it's a very different world than what we grew up. The only, like, if they'd had the video games they have now, when I was growing up, it would have been over for me. But all we had was a game called Pong. Little ball bouncing back and forth. Now, they did have an arcade, and if I ever had any quarters, I would play Miss Pac-Man and Galaga and Space Invader. That's my screen. So let me hear from you. What was your screen time like growing up? And what is your relationship with your kids and the screen time today? Challenging? Just tell us a little bit about it. No judgment.
A lot of times with the speaking spell.
What's that?
The things you type the words into. I didn't have screen time, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, just
like little thing with robot voice.
Yeah, that was you did it as a kid.
Red and rectangle.
Is this?
It was a Texas Instruments.
You're just playing on a calculator?
Is this just a jack street?
Yeah.
I didn't have.
This thing.
Okay.
I've heard of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I know what those are.
Yeah, on Toy
You
Story.
can still buy them.
It's
That would be great.
Back
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, the
Little red.
I think it'll take too long to unpack what is your relationship with screen time today. Virtually everybody. But like when I was a kid, I don't remember anybody talking about screen time other than stayed more than 3 feet away from the screen. It wasn't like
Don't get too close.
I was like, don't be too
Yeah.
close. But like no one was like playing any video games. It's like we still like did other stuff.
The nature of, like, you could turn on Saturday morning TV, and then at some point it got boring because it was not what you wanted to watch. So you're like, I'm not going to play outside.
Yeah.
And even if you're homesick from school, like, not that much good stuff on in the afternoon.
You're done.
And so,
Yeah.
like, stuff would come on at like 4 o'clock, 6, 12, whatever. But then at some point it's like, and so just naturally,
Yeah.
you couldn't. There's not fun. Watch. Screen time is like, you're saying screen time makes me feel like, because I hate managing. I'm regularly like, the worst part of parenting for me is like, trying to figure out, manage screen time, like in a reasonable way where my kids aren't like, you're the worst parent, everybody else gets to do all this other stuff, and to where I feel comfortable.
I was listening to the podcast last week and one of the things she did was like, okay, so you know how we try every day, you've got 30 minutes. Then she said, I quit that. She said, because it was just about, she said, now I go Saturday mornings, and you can 3 hours on Saturday mornings. You can do whatever you want, 3 hours, but not during. And I was like, you know, I kind of like that. So don't ask me during the week, but Saturday morning is yours. And then you're not battling and not turning it off, and it's not an everyday battle. You know, it's just not going to happen.
They're not hiding it.
Yeah.
If it's a battle every time they ask, that's going to be hard.
Like Saturday.
He talked about that a little bit in the chapter, like Friday night is family movie night. And he was also pretty big about like being able to do it together as a family. That's not individually as people are off, in their rooms. But
So hard now too, because you have so many screens. Like when you say screen time, are you talking about the iPad? Are you talking about the iPhone? Are you talking about the TV? Are you talking about this little gadget? It's just so much.
Yeah.
Speak and spell. Are you talking?
Speak and spell. Yeah.
What?
One thing I
The
tried,
evils of speak and spell.
so this didn't go well. Like the beginning of college football season, I said, okay, Reese, you can watch the iPad as much as you want, as long as Dad's watching. And so that lasted the entire day, and I realized how terrible that was. Didn't go well.
Yeah. And I mean, it's hard in so many different ways. And it's especially hard on you as a parent. Because it limits what you can do.
I think one of the most difficult things is as the child grows, what age is appropriate for screen time? At what age do you give them a cell phone? At what age are they allowed to get on an iPad? That is difficult.
But it's so much easier just to give it to them.
And then when you give it to them, you have all these things in your head that we're going to have all of these rules. Then the rules actually become more of a nuisance to you because it's hard to balance and just forget it.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
Different children.
Yeah.
So, somebody else, what's your...
Well, I heard this kind of relates, but I heard this the other day, and that's that kids growing up now are having difficulty conversations with people in job interviews, and and it's kind of like,
yeah.
I've never given an interview, but I could imagine like some kids don't know how to talk to you at all.
Yeah.
And that's probably a big part of it, probably on the screen.
Yeah. I think that was even more so during the pandemic. People kind of so isolated and spending time alone with a screen changed. Teachers kind of were like different. Yeah.
We're not really home a lot, so it's really not, for us, I feel like it's more difficult in the summer or in the winter, like when it's really, really hot, because we love to be outside, so if it's really, really hot or really, really cold, we use tissues. So I kind of do this thing where it's like, if you work hard, you play hard. If you want to watch a show on TV, that's fine. Go do a mile. And so, I mean, because it's really like, it sounds hard, but, we have this little pond across the street. You walk around 3 times, it's a mile. It's really not that you can run it really fast. You can walk it in 20 minutes. I feel like that's fair. Like, you get more screen time than you have to walk. So I kind of do it as like a reward system. I don't know.
Yeah. Just
whatever.
Maybe like
how bad do you like? And so I feel like everything's kind of
yeah. You don't get any screen time unless you get under an 8 minute.
30 minutes for done.
And then I feel like what do you allow them to watch? Like, then what are they allowed?
Well, if you fight, then it's done. It is set like
Okay,
I can't handle the bickering, the whatever. So if it's going to cause a problem, it's flat out.
Are you okay with a clean YouTube channel or no?
I don't. Whatever it is. I don't know how to work technology very well.
Our kids don't know how to work cable.
Yeah, I'm great with cable. I can help. And I also like shows. So during the fall, we watch a lot of Hocus Pocus. And I have one kid that really, really struggles with dyslexia and dysgraphia. And so, like today, I'll probably want to do some homework with her. Well, Harry Potter's on. So let's sit in bed and watch Harry Potter while we watch this. So it's kind of more like, but it's something that they watch all the time. So it kind of gets boring, if that makes sense. Christmas, now it's Christmas time. Happy Christmas, everyone.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
No, it is.
Christmas tree went up for Halloween.
I respect that. We've been having a marital battle over that. Like, it's fine. But now it's Christmas. So we'll be. It's Christmas. So like now it's gonna be Home Alone. It'll be those kind of movies.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, stuff will be on, but it'll be where you're bored and you can.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
So he talked about taking the responsibility. It's a huge job. It's to like know what your kids are watching and understand those shows or know what they're like. That's going to be a pretty hard thing to do. But again, if you know content's, I guess there's a couple of issues. One is just like frequency and amount, and then content would be another part, right?
Probably don't use our child, but I don't know how to do the measuring stick, how mature the content is with like what about or how much screen time, how much time outside our own life as far as what our kids do. When it seems like it's perfect outside life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go back and watch some of those shows that I watched as a child, and I'm like, oh. I mean, like even Hocus Pocus, I was like,
have you ever watched Head?
Yeah.
or Harry and the Hendersons. Harry and the Hendersons.
I don't know.
We watched Mighty Ducks the other day with our kids. It's
Yes.
like, that got a little spicy in there.
But I do love what he's talking about, like sharing certain stories with your kids and doing that together. And I think that's when I'm like, okay, there's language in Home Alone, but I love Home Alone, and like I think you can. Talk about this.
Yeah.
Like you can be like, okay, they say some words, but like this is a good story, and just watch with your kids. And like we have always only had one TV, and so we watch we watch like all shows together, and then our kids have to watch shows together. But we've been letting like our oldest watch certain shows with us, and like we love sharing movies and shows. I love reading certain books to them, and I love sharing. Like just watch Stranger Things with our oldest kid, and we're like all excited for new. But there's so many like there's definitely bad language in Stranger Things, and he's in high school. But it's like the story, like I think it meant a lot to him, and so just to be able to share that.
Do you have a conversation about what is said?
I think we're like, okay, if people say bad words, don't do it. But then like, look at the kids were like having an argument, like these guys who were all friends, and then they were all standing in the same room working out this argument. I'm like, look, they're all together in one space having a conversation about this conflict. They're not text messaging about it, and I'm like, that's so healthy to like be able to get over this conflict. And they're like, you're gonna shake this, and I was like, I love that. And I think he was previously homeschooled, and the youngest teacher that meant so much to these kids, he was like, I didn't know teachers could be so cool and like meaningful. And so now I go to high school and like, and so I think we love TV. Like we love TV, and I think there's a good part of it. I hate all the like, what is this random thing you're watching? So I'm like, well, I do like the quality. I want to care more about like what's the quality of the content here. Like, are you learning anything from it? Is it like meaningful to you? They love Ninjago. Ninjago is a well-written show, and like it has like this developed plot line, and so we're like watch things that have a plot, and like they can be meaningful about it. Like they experience emotion through movies and TV. So I'm pro that. I just hate all the like, why are you watching these random YouTube shorts that like never stop? You could watch them forever. Like they will never end. You could literally do this all of your life if you never turn it off. So that's right.
You talked about doing that with Sandlot,
Mm-hmm.
that you loved as a kid, and Jordan's kid, and then seeing a scene in it, like, what?
Yeah.
That's
And like
probably not right.
objectifying.
Yeah.
When you cut the cord.
Acting like you were drowning, so that this girl would come and get you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
It was the 90s.
like we grew up. Like, they didn't have PG-13 movies when we were growing up. There was G, PG, and R, and PG was like. So there were some PG movies that today would like they were borderline R. And I remember, like we wanted our kids to see Back to the Future. I saw a lot of language. There was another show I thought, even E.T. I thought there's some stuff in that movie that I didn't realize.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was PG and like
Yeah.
the heart out.
Yeah. But having those conversations.
I mean, I do like the old school stuff more just because I know it's like, I don't know, the kids were watching was it Buzz Lightyear or something? You said you had to blog something on Disney. Like, so like,
Yeah.
and the PG, like,
Yeah.
whose standards is that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Didn't y'all grow up watching SpongeBob?
I was never allowed.
I felt like
To
when
this day,
my
I've
kids
never
watched
seen it.
SpongeBob, they were getting dumb. Like they were actually losing
I
brain
would watch
cells.
SpongeBob right before I went to school.
Makes sense.
Breakfast and
I could
SpongeBob.
not stand
That tracks.
SpongeBob.
Yeah. But I couldn't watch Rugrats. Figure that out, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because it's all like disrespectful
It was
behaviors.
Angelica. She was
Oh.
so ugly.
I watched that, and my mom was like, "Oh, you want to be like that?" And I was like,
Yeah, I couldn't watch
so she caught me like, "Don't act like her."
This is probably like the same, but I obviously worry about screen time. We typically do it before her, like right after she wakes up. Just gives us some time to get ready and whatever. Just chill. But one thing I think about is like when she's older, like teenagers, and if you limit it too much, because I am in finance and technology, and like everything is going for technology, and if you limit it too much, your kid is going to get left in the job space. And that's like an insane thought having it. My daughter is like, but it's like when do you start making these transitions? Because I've already noticed, like Davy loves phones because she FaceTimes people and she loves. But she also likes like looking at pictures. She already knows how to like swipe and find other pictures and go sideways, and that is both alarming and cool. Oh, that way. But pretty soon she's gonna find the other apps and start doing it else. So like, that's just a thought I have. Just not crossing my head. Like the way AI is going, even in the realm how technology. There's not some form of like early education about it. That worries.
Hard to know what's even real anymore.
I know.
I think it's helpful to have conversations with your kids about what do you think is reasonable. Like I've noticed that I've been too strict, or like, and they're like, a lot of people get to play video games, and I'm like, what do you think is reasonable? Like, what would you like to do? How would you like this to work? Because I'm not going to just let you play all the time. And so we've been like, not on the weekdays, but on the weekends, like set a timer so y'all can take turns. But and then like as our oldest had a phone, and it was like we were so like, what are you doing on your phone? Every time you picked it up, you're like, why are you on your phone? And it's like kids are just on their phone sometimes, and so to try to like make some rules and like, what are you doing on your phone as long as it's not something like inappropriate or stupid, then maybe we could like let it go a little bit. But I had to be like, and like some kids just know how to get around technology restrictions, and I just had to maybe be like, maybe if I wasn't so trying to hold on to all of this, maybe they wouldn't be trying to, well, that's a dumb rule, let me use it in some way. And so I feel like some kids you just need to be able to like, I'm going to let you weigh in. This is like what to do. And then also like, at some point they're going to leave your house and have a phone in their hand, and like if they have no know how to like manage it themselves.
Yeah, I think what you said, like with our kids, and I know it was a different time. Some of y'all are our kids' age, but communication with and just talking to them. And we had restrictions. I mean, you know, we had things. I know Jackson and his family. We were like, no phones. You know, they didn't until they got old enough.
Computer.
Yeah, they had filters on everything.
Even on the TV, we had one.
Used to beep out the word.
Well, no,
it's
it
like
did the closed captioning.
Oh, that
And then-
angel thing?
Yeah, something like that.
TV guard?
TV, yeah, so, yeah, that's what it, so it's
That's
like,
what you knew when it beeped what the word
yeah,
was.
when it said,
Yeah.
when it said dumb, you knew it.
Yeah.
It was making you say,
Right.
Yes, right.
you gotta go guilty.
It made me hard.
But as our kids got older, and even now as they're adults, and we go back and talk about it, you know, Matthew's a computer software engineer, so he loves technology. He's loved it since the day he was born. He would get up first thing on Saturday morning and learn how to turn the TV on to watch things. You know, I mean, it was just always, but I did not like him playing video games that kill people. I was like, what is good about this? That you're not going to do all those. And we just didn't let him have them. And I said, you know, and now, and we talked about it, and he agreed. And I said, this is just not good. And as he's gotten older, we've talked about it seriously now. And he's like, Mom, at the time, all my friends were doing that. And I didn't understand, but he said, I understand now. And he said, I get it, and I'm so glad y'all didn't let me do that. You know, and he could get around anything with technology because he just had that knack about it. But he understood where we came from and why we were wanting to do it. And I think if you communicate with them and they understand why you're coming from that, the heart behind it. I mean, not that he didn't ask, and he did. And when he went to somebody else's house, I told him, I said, I know you were playing those games because he said, I didn't much. And I'm like, yeah.
Didn't kill many people.
He knew where we stood on it, but he had to have a little bit of freedom leeway to let him make some decisions too. You know, we didn't let him have a TV in their room. You know, and I know that's not even, you know, now that's crazy, but he was a boy. You're putting a loaded gun in his hand with a smartphone and giving him access to any and everything. And I just wasn't willing to do that. I wasn't willing, knowing that he was going to see and learn all this stuff. Anyway, I didn't have to help it out, you know. And I think now that they're adults and we talk about it, the communicating and telling them why behind it, and then letting them make some of their decisions. You had to trust, you know, how we feel about it. You know, you've got to have the heart behind you to not want to do some of that. And that's the hard part, but I think that comes from letting them know how you feel about it and teaching them what it is and watching the shows together. You know, like when we watched Back to the Future, I was so excited. Man, this was a great show. And then the language, I was like, oh, hang on a minute. I didn't remember that. Let's talk about this, you know, and things like that. Certain shows that would come on or whatever, they knew that they weren't going to watch. But they knew why. And not that they didn't sneak and do that, I'm sure. We all did those things. Back to the communication. And having friends that felt the same way as you did, such as the Klauses and the Warrens. They were
having parents.
Having parents.
Yeah.
Parents that, no, we're not giving them a phone. We're not doing this. We're all in this together. And our kids would go, I know Jackson can't have one. I know Nathan can't have one. It's like, you know. I was like, right. And so we just went on. And Morgan's friends would do this to her because she didn't have a phone. They'd go, oh, we're calling Morgan, you know. And I was like, that's just life. You know, just
the rest of the world goes crazy. You don't have to.
That's right.
Find 2 or 3 other people and lock arms and say, this is important enough that we're going to work, stand with each other. And when we feel weak, we have somebody to call. Tell me I'm doing the right thing.
I do think it's hard when there's different roles at different times.
There is, absolutely.
And like, and then I just conversation all the time, but you know, I understand why that kid has more access to her phone. Her mom works all the time. Her mom goes overseas. I understand that she, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not that's not our life right now. Like, I'll sit and I'll wait for you to come out of practice. You don't need to call me. I'm here. I'm here for you. Like, so it is.
We've had that conversation. Dad works in the school. There's no need for you to have a phone.
I mean, but it is. Like, it's, you know.
It is hard. It's very hard.
Like, Evelyn has a phone and she's probably had it, I mean, I guarantee you less than 10 times. That's like, if I have to drop you off somewhere and I'm taking a sibling somewhere else, then you can have it. But like, otherwise, mommy's here. Like, your friend's parents work at the school. I can call your teachers. It's okay. Don't worry. Like, but it is, and then you don't want them to be like judgy towards other families.
Yeah.
Like, everyone will call them, well, the TikTok girls. The TikTok girls get to do this. Well, you're not TikTok. You know, but it's all this like, and just because somebody does something doesn't mean they're bad. That doesn't mean they're doing something bad. But like, we've had the conversation. Like, do you think mommy's smart? Well, sometimes. Do you think daddy's smart? Yes. But having this, like, they're a lot smarter than daddy on the internet, and their job is to get. And we can't protect. Like, that. We don't know how. The only thing we can do is cut this off. And like when we explain it like that, I'd say 80% of the time she understands if she's being rational. But we have had to have those conversations of why.
I also think that like having all those screen time conversations makes me more cognizant of how much time I have a phone or a laptop in front of my kids. It's like I've tried really hard to like not be like working in front of them as often as I can, like not be working in front of them, or like I want them like part of I see them to see like that I'm doing stuff, but then at the same time like I don't want them to like remember like every time I saw Dad he was on his phone or he was working at a computer or whatever. So we try to do that as little as possible, but it's going to happen. So it's like just be on your phone, kids aren't around or something. I don't know. Just try to do less.
But I also don't want to be like so out of touch. Like so, I like share fun videos with my kids that I see. Like, oh, I saved this, so I wanted to show it to you because it was funny, and so that I'm not like, oh, I don't watch those. Like, Brian's like, I've never seen a video because he only is doing work. But I'm like, oh, I saw this funny video to show you because like connect in that way. That's how they connect with their friends.
Sometimes it's fun
So
to lay like with your kids on. Like I can lay with Lucy all the time and do things together that work. Yeah, like going back to what you said, Kate, about like there are people on the internet that want our kids. I was reminded this week that the devil wants our kids. And he's like, we're fighting him, you know, like I have to always remember that. Like, he wants me to think I'm a bad mom. He wants me to throw all this screen time at him because it's easier. And that is like, I feel like the main battle of what we're fighting.
Like my issue with the screens is not even so much the exposure. It's almost kind of what like our last sermon topic was, how we were discussing like, you know, how Satan screws with your mind, how he gets in there. And so like trying to explain that to your kids, like, listen, you're going to be advertised clothes. Like, I mean, I was telling them, like, like people market me for clothes that are not for my body. They're for your body. Like, it's like this sick algorithm of things that aren't attainable and that just constantly bring you down, that are constantly, well, these friends are doing this, so I have, this person is great at this, well, I must be terrible at this. Like, it's this constant mind battle. And that's really my issue a lot of the time with the screens. I mean, other than like the horrible, like the really, really horrible pictures, but just the Satan, like, weaving into your mind and just kind of bringing you down a little bit. Well, this person's so blessed. Well, I'm not. I mean, just the constant, like Ella and I have had a ton of conversations how like Satan will slowly it's not like a huge drop. It's just like how Satan will like slowly start to weave in little and just kind of slowly down. And that's really my issue with like the screens and the children's marketing and all that stuff.
That's what he mainly says in this chapter is the formation. You know, somebody's forming the child, either what's on that screen or you. You're right, because they're seeing how they should look, how they should think, how they should act, what they should wear. You know, everything is telling them that. And at that age, they're believing that.
And it's so important, I think, and I do not have it together or have it right, but I feel like the more we can teach I'm speaking on girls because I have a 16-year-old girl, but the more we can teach them at 13, 14, 15, really 14, like then they become so much more independent. It's so hard for me to control London's phone. 16, fixing to be 17-year-old when she's going with her friends doing good things, but it's so hard. But if I planted that and I told her those things, then I can breathe a little bit lighter because I know that I've said and I planted that seed and still like remind her. But I can't. I mean, she's 16 years old. She's in SGA. Well, she gets all her information from the phone. I don't know where on the phone she gets her information, but she has to have that. She says. But it's like I can't like I feel like every week it's like, Dad, I need this for school and I have to approve it, and it just got exhausting. But I feel like do a good job at pray that we've done a good job, we can kind of breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Build in them the tools.
because
to
I
discern.
can't do that from like what you're saying. At 16, I can't do that. She's driving. She's involved in everything and has so many friends. You know, it's just so hard. I mean,
But at that point, it may not be what's best.
right, and it yeah,
You're slowly.
it could
Yeah.
it could become more of a, you know, rebellious.
It's kind of, I don't remember who said this, but they're kind of compared raising children to like when they're young, you know, you hold them like this, and as they grow older, you know, you're slowly giving them more freedom. But what happens sometimes is parents, they give a lot of freedom at early age, and then things go wrong at 16, and you're trying to do this, and there leads to rebellion.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
so
was
it's
trying
like
to-
this discernment and wisdom of like, okay, we're gonna be stricter the younger they are, but we're gonna slowly give them some freedom and some responsibility, and hopefully teach them some discernment and self-control, so that as this time's coming, like I know a lot of you with small children are like, no, I don't want to hear that, but yeah, that time is coming, and coming pretty. Those conversations have to happen probably earlier than they've ever had to happen.
And the more, like, I wished, like, the limiting of the screen time, like, it's got to be something, and like give them full reign to cell phone. So,
And it's like I feel this moment. I realize now the irony of me reading this chapter from a screen, but you're like I can sit. It's just the two of us. Like I can sit and watch videos for hours on end. Like they're not necessarily funny video. I'm just watching. So I know that there's this addictive nature to the whole thing.
I think asking your kids, how do you feel when you do that? Like when you're done, are you like, what about? And like, but I've heard like I mean, when you're little, when they're little bitty, if you don't want your kids to be watching TV, like you have to go outside with them. Like if you want them to play outside, like you have to take them outside and play with them.
That's where we're at. They're outside, now it's working.
Like, okay, let's play a
Good one.
game.
Yeah. Board games.
And when yeah. And I think when they're older, like we just started saying yes to more, like Brody's like, can I go play disc golf? We're like, oh, with real people in the real world, like walk, yes, can I go do this thing? So you have to like say yes to the things that are good for them. And when they're littler, you have to like make those things happen yourself. And so we always be like, man, you cannot be a good parent just sitting down. Like you have to like stand up and get close to your kids and do stuff with them. Like good parenting does not happen from a chair.
And one day you'll get to sit down. Until with grandbaby. Why don't we come back and talk about this some more next week? If you haven't read the chapter, read the chapter. There's some really good stuff there. Whether you agree with it or not, I think it's worth reading for sure. All right. Thank you all very much.
Yeah. Appreciate your screen time.
You don't like what it is.
You know that's how virtual walk.
I'm so sorry.
He was running back in the day. He always wanted to watch TV as a kid. And Dad said, "That's mine, but you have to."
You go to his kids. He always gets his name called.
Like hard thing, like the harder you work, the harder you play.
Mine's just
All day long.
Y'all ain't even.
I got it too. My screen time. I'm working on my kid. Yeah, but I'm waiting till tonight. Are you doing kids?
Probably.
These pillows. This mirror.
I know.
Lots of serving there.
Look, I found so much stuff for you. Like they have tons of like
You mean
y'all to throw parties at my house.
Yeah, I'm getting my own servingware.
We'll just store it at your house. Like a shop.
Those are in my house.
$2. Those are $70.
Yeah.
Who said there's?
Oh, look, this Christmas
village.
village.
Everything. You
Look.
can get on Amazon. You get them on Amazon and it's there, brand new. You can order it.
These are what I really want.
I saw those. What do you gonna put them in? I love that.
Aren't those cute?
What do you gonna put them in? They're usual. No, they're.
These, I'm really gonna try hard to get these.
Such a nice thing.
No, I'm just watching it.
I know, it takes the thrill out of it. I gotta know the rest of the Churchill. I don't like step.
I sat on it for a long time.
It's so. I started. Did you say? Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
you